Hello everybody, welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Tiffany.
Here's where we take 3 comics and then talk about what happened in them and then rate them and decide which one's the good, which one's the bad, and which one is the ugly. Amazing Spider-Man turned 800 last week, and so we are celebrating by talking about issues 400, 500, and 600. Amazing Spider-Man number 400, written by J.M. DeMatteis with art by Mark Bagley, is cemented in the Clone Saga. It's right in the middle of it.
Reboot.
Great big ad for Reboot. It's also a great full-page little diatribe by Stan Lee talking about, I can't believe we made it to 400 issues. Each 100th issue of Spider-Man has dealt with some kind of major revelation or new character. In this one, Spider-Man is... Okay, so Aunt May fell into a coma during the beginning of the Clone Saga. And in this one, she wakes up.
Okay.
And she's seemingly totally fine. And so, okay, this is the Web of Death, or during the Web of Death.
What?
Which is an arc that they talked about and advertised in other comics and in Wizard magazines.
Okay.
Where they were like, one of the Parkers will die in issue 400. The friggin' cover has a tombstone on it. The people in the photo that says which one of these Parkers will die were Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and Aunt May. Aunt May dies in this issue. It was a surprise to literally nobody.
Right.
Some people might have thought it might have been Mary Jane. They might have tried to pull a fast one on you.
Industry insiders certainly, because they were like, oh, they hate the marriage. They want to get it out of here. So, like, yeah, there might be killing, Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider's, like, peeking through the window. And Spider-Man looks at him like, get the hell out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here, Scarlet Spider! Nobody wants you! Clones, no! And he's like, oh, want me here.
I don't belong anywhere.
And so in the
fake, not real.
Not even real. So like throughout the whole story, it's just like this psychodrama where Aunt May is not gonna die. She's totally fine. But I know because I read the solicits that someone's gonna die. Oh my god, who could be?
It could be anybody at this point.
And now Scarlet Spider is like, I'm not real. And
Right.
you're like, what?
I guess they could have also killed him off, even though he's not technically.
Yeah, and that would have
But
been a
he
great
is.
like holy crap
That would have
moment.
been awesome.
But no, he's hugely popular. So
Yeah.
we're indicating all kinds of stuff. What?
Why?
Oh, I don't know. People loved his costume too.
Really?
They were huge fans of it. So much so that when they brought Ben Reilly back to life and then gave him a new costume and they released it in the covers, fans rejected it out of hand and they forced him to go back and redraw it so that he got this costume back.
Oh.
Wow.
All right. I just want to talk about these two pages, really.
Okay.
This page and this page.
Yes.
Because, number one, why are the terror dogs from Ghostbusters here?
Well, because Mark Bagley wanted to draw them.
And number two, these two pages come out of nowhere and are not referenced again.
No. Issue 400 is, if nothing else, a single chapter in the ongoing saga of Spider-Man. So
Right.
there are things we need to catch up on or remind you about. Number
don't
one,
forget.
Ben Reilly is sad. Number two, Kane, the evil Spider-Man clone that they haven't revealed yet, Spider-Man's clone, who has the ability to scar you with his hands, who has been dogging Ben Reilly his entire life. He's also in the book. And so he shows up for a half second. The Jackal, who was originally Miles Warren, who was the original progenitor of the clones in general, he has modified his body during the Clone Saga to become an actual not jackal creature.
Yeah, like a goblin man.
Yeah, and he was defeated in an earlier story and then put in the Ravencroft Institute, which is a poor man's Arkham Asylum for Spider-Man. And he is a raving lunatic in this scene, but then he reveals that he's actually not because he's pretending to be for no good reason whatsoever. He is the Green Goblin and like the Joker at once.
Okay.
Like he's self-referential. He makes little like jokes. He makes like TV references. He's hilarious. He wears a trench coat when he wants to wear a uniform. And he also is like pretending to be a raving lunatic, but I think he actually is a raving lunatic. It's really stupid.
I mean, if you are, that could possibly indicate that you're not all together.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was so funny because otherwise this book is very cohesive.
Yes.
And then you get this one page,
there are a couple pages like this where you're like, oh no. As a kid reading it, I remember being like, this is tarnished by its time. Because in the story, they think Aunt May's going to die. Aunt May comes out of her coma. She wakes up. She comes home. They bring her back Pete and Mary Jane have moved into her house in Forest Hills. They live there. Unbeknownst to Aunt May, because this whole thing took place while she was in coma, Mary Jane got pregnant.
I mean, you could just go through it.
And so when Peter brings Aunt May home, Mary Jane is delighted, and she's like, May, I'm so glad you're here. And Aunt May can immediately tell that Mary Jane is pregnant.
Yeah, she has like a superpower.
Yeah. It's something that I've heard old people can do. It's a very sweet
Well,
little thing.
I've never heard it like the way she describes it, where she's just like, there's a look in your eyes. Usually
Yes.
there's a glow about
You got a
you.
twinkle.
Yeah, it's that.
Ting.
Pete and Mary Jane and Aunt May are just talking about old times, and Aunt May instills on them the lesson that Ben Parker taught Peter about power and responsibility. Just about like how family is your responsibility and how like you owe it to each other to take care of each other.
Well,
and
his
stuff.
greatest responsibility now
Is their child.
is the child.
Yes.
Raising his child.
So
No greater responsibility. It's highlighted.
I know,
It's like-
and I agree.
Yeah,
but it's also but it's also foreshadowing why Aunt May is here now. So Peter goes through his old house, and he's like walking around, and he's like haunted by his memories, and then freaking the clone shows up, and he's like, "We need to talk." And so they go outside and they talk about, and they both have like a flashback.
They put on their costume.
They put on their
Oh
costumes.
no,
to
he
talk.
had his costume on. He's
Well,
like,
yeah.
ooh, hang on.
Yeah, well, because I can't have
Oh,
Peter
he's
Parker
Spider-Man.
talking to the Scarlet Spider. It'll
Yeah.
look weird.
Well,
So
but I will wear a Spider-Man outfit right outside
the Parker house.
Yeah, where I could easily be seen from the window.
Yeah, oh, I know. So, but I love it because they have this conversation where basically Ben Reilly's like, I have to go because you have finally got your shit together. You have a life. You're gonna get you're gonna have a kid. Aunt May's back in your life. You finally have a real chance for happiness, and I'm kind of like a stupid remnant of all the bullshit continuity that you have to deal with, and so I'm gonna remove myself from the equation, which would have been great if that was actually true, but the book itself betrays the message. So he's like, you will never hear from me again. I am leaving forever.
I like that too because he here says he's just like,
If you
blow it, I'm gonna come back here and straighten you out, and then like
he says, okay, well, give me a call sometime. No, you will never hear her see me again. And you're like, what?
wait, which is the
You
hollow
just-
threat
wait,
then?
yeah.
Which isn't-
Well, you just said you'd come back.
Well, no, I mean, as long as you keep your shit together, then you will never hear or see from me again.
Oh,
That's not.
Yeah.
what-
But otherwise,
You will never-
You definitely will.
Right.
Hear from me again.
yeah.
If you need me to.
Yeah, it's just betraying like what an
Just don't be
empty-
a fucking idiot, all right?
Right.
And
Oh.
I'm not gonna call you.
That's
And
weird.
don't call me. We're not friends.
Right.
We're clones.
Yeah.
I don't need your
Sad.
fucking pity.
Yeah.
You might.
No, you kind of do.
No, I've got to return to my wanderer's life.
You don't even have a
which is
costume.
the thing I actually said in this book.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I
love
have
it.
to return to my wanderer.
Right, but he
life.
acts like he's like, I have to leave. Like he's been hanging around. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but you've been wandering.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
He just showed up like less than a year ago in actual time and less than like a week ago in comic book time. So Aunt May goes to bed, obviously at 2:30 in the afternoon, like anyone her age would. And Mary Jane, says, like, we're so glad, we're blessed that you're back in our life. And
Then we watch some old movies where
Yeah.
we see that Aunt May has been old forever.
yes, she is the exact same age when Peter was a baby. It's unbelievable.
She's barely aged a day.
And then we have to remind you that you're still reading Spider-Man in 1990
Yeah.
And so there's a member
It's
of
amazing.
of Judas Traveler's stupid order who's recording what's happening, and you're like, what?
And Judas Traveler here's the guy with all the jewelry.
Oh my god.
That
We don't have the time to talk about
This
Judas
outfit
Traveler.
is amazing. You
Yes.
got this serious melodramatic moment.
Yeah.
And then you cut to this fucking jackass.
Yes.
The
This
most
Sean Connery in a pirate
He's
costume.
got like 20 bracelets on
Yep.
and like some sort of fancy monocle.
No,
Yep, I can't take anything seriously
That-
in this book.
No.
I love Judas Traveler because he sucks so much.
Yeah.
And they were so sure he was important and cool.
Right? And then this chick shows up and she's supposed to be really cool. She's like
Yeah.
He's a member of his order.
she's wearing like ripped shorts and a jacket that I guess it has sleeves, but
And a
it's
wetsuit.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it sucks. Anyway, so then we just had Ben Reilly go like, I'm leaving forever. And then we check back in with Ben Reilly, and he's
Yeah,
in his
he's
apartment,
packing up
and
his
he's
stuff.
and he's got Spider-Man costume, even though he's wearing a Scarlet Spider costume. So he
Right.
throws the Spider-Man costume away because he's sad. Then we meet another Peter Parker clone.
What?
Yeah, that I thought at first it was Ben Reilly, but I was like, it can't
No.
be Ben Reilly because he's not wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, and he's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
I was so confused. I
Yeah.
just assumed it was Ben Riley. I was like,
No.
this doesn't make any
No.
So
sense.
I was like, oh.
But it was just another Peter Parker clone, which the Jackal wants them both to think is the real Peter Parker. And so do the idiot editors at this point. Peter takes Aunt May to the top of the Empire State Building. and they're just looking out over the city, and they're having a really nice moment. And Aunt May kind of drifts a little bit, and Peter is worried that she's kind of like losing her mind, or that she's like getting sick.
Well,
And
yeah, but she could have also been sad because she was just talking about Ben. Because you're not sure, because like she's like, he used to bring me up here on our dates because we didn't have any money, and it's just like,
It's a
for a
good
minute I was
cheap
like, oh my
date.
god, she's just so sad.
Yes, I'm just so lonely and miserable.
Yeah.
But then they have this moment where this bird flies by, and she says, "What is it like to swing across the city as Spider-Man?"
She doesn't say
She
that.
doesn't say-
Well, she
she's
says, "What does it
supposed
feel
like
to swing across the city and
Yeah.
be weightless?" And he's like, well, "I don't know what you're talking
Whoa,
about."
what do you mean?
And she's like, "You've been living under my roof this entire time. There's no way that I didn't figure it out, and that you threw yourself."
You think I'm an idiot? You
Right.
think I'm
I
stupid?
raised you,
You must
you
think I'm the
jackass.
dumbest person on earth.
All right, jeez, Amy, I'm sorry. You're a real firebrand today. But she's like, in this monologue, like, retcons all the parts in the entire series of Spider-Man, all 400 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, where she talks about Spider-Man as though he's a separate person, and refers to him really negatively to Peter because she definitely didn't know he was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where she says that you put yourself in harm's way, and you like you constantly put your life on the line, and it worried me so much that I couldn't bear to hear the name Spider-Man, which is, I think, a great retcon.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Holy crap! Like, this is a bombshell. I am so sorry that I lied to you my
Right.
entire adult life." And she says, "You don't have anything to apologize to me for." And he doesn't even get a chance to tell her that he's responsible for Ben's death. We get that in a later story, but not here.
And does she disown him and
Right, in
cry
Spider-Man
and
2
hit him?
or whatever.
Yeah.
No, she's like Aunt May. But she says, like, you have nothing to apologize for. Like, all you did was live decently, which is all I've ever wanted for you.
Yeah.
And then she like starts to lose it. And she starts coming apart, and you know that that this is the one who's going to die in this book.
Yeah.
And so she says, "Take me home." And she goes home, and then she goes to her bed, and she's on her deathbed. And it's just her goodbye. And so she's surrounded by her best friend, Aunt Anna, Mary Jane, and Peter. And that's it. And she basically just says, like, "I'm tired, it's time." And then the freaking clone shows back up to remind you that you're reading the Clone Saga. And so Ben Reilly is secretly watching her die through the window. He recounts a Peter Pan line where he says, like, you know, just, now you can fly over the city like I did. Like, second star to the right and straight on till morning. And she dies, which is one of the most impactful, emotional Spider-Man scenes that I had ever read in my life. And I love what they do. So smart. The clone shows back up. He's crying on the roof, which is actually kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can't be there.
Yeah, he can't say
He's
goodbyes.
like kept out of it.
And when he finds out that he's the real one, he is so resentful. He's like, "I had to like hide. My aunt died, and I had to like hide like a beggar, like skulking. in
you
the
thought
darkness."
you were the clone too.
Yeah, shut up.
Shut up.
Also, you are the clone.
You're gonna wind up being the clone anyway, so definitely shut up.
Yeah, but I love it because she dies, no dialogue for 2 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we see the funeral.
Oh, 3 pages.
Oh, actually, it's 5
4
pages.
5 pages.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So we see the funeral. Everyone's gathered there. J. Jonah Jameson's there. Felicia Hardy's there. They put her away. And
In the coffin.
in the ground.
As you do.
They bury her. She's buried next to Uncle Ben. They have the funeral reception in their brownstone, and everybody leaves, and it's like, ugh, like that was an emotional gut punch. But don't worry, because Peter Parker is now being accosted by these 2 detectives who want him arrested for murder. Reminding him, whoa, my God! So they arrest Peter, and he leaves with these cops, and Mary Jane is like freaking out.
Yeah.
And then as Peter's being carted away, he sees the clone who's looking over him like he's the one who murdered somebody and framed him for it. So Mary Jane's trying to like put it all together, and she's like, "Okay, who do I call? Oh, Matt Murdock, because he's Peter's lawyer, kinda, and also Daredevil. But he's pretending to be dead at this point,
Right.
so she
She
can't.
can't remember
like,
Foggy
"No, he's
Nelson's
dead."
name.
Yeah, she can't remember Foggy's name, which is actually a real thing. And she's like,
Yeah.
Aunt May just died, and Peter's been arrested.
Well,
Right.
he doesn't have an alliterative name. That's the problem.
It's true,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
Foggy Nelson. So she's like, is that even his real name? What's
That doesn't sound like a name. That can't be right.
Yeah. So then Ben Reilly breaks into her apartment and reveals that he's here, and he's like, it's time for us to meet. And you're like, ugh. But like,
So it's the other clone
no,
who kills somebody?
it was Kane.
Oh.
Kane's the murderer because he has Peter Parker's fingerprints.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a cold case from like 5 years ago that they just figured out right now.
So is that guy at the funeral? The detective?
Oh yeah.
When so he waits?
Yeah. Yeah, he waits until
So
after.
he does wait until.
Well, at least he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of cool, but also ridiculous.
Fun fact about this issue.
Yes.
You already know this. I read this at work, and so like I'm in my office. Luckily, there was nobody around. It was right around my lunchtime. Everyone was away, and I'm just going through it, and I hit the death scene, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, no, it's
and I'm just
so sad.
crying at
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey. You might want to warn a girl next time you let her read
I know.
Spider-Man
I'm like,
400 at
well,
work.
there's a tombstone on the cover, and it's written by DeMatteis. He killed Harry Osborn like a year before,
All right,
and it
but
was more sad.
I have read character deaths, right?
Yeah, not by DeMatteis.
Not like this.
Yeah, no.
Like
Not
that.
like this!
I don't know if it was because it's Aunt May. I have a thing about old people. They make
Yeah.
me really sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
it is
that
really
Peter
sad.
Pan line is so perfect.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and
no.
like Mary Jane and her aunt like watching
Watching-
from the doorway.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you're
yes.
not really. I mean, like her eyes are open there, maybe, but you're not even sure if she's alive at this point as he's
Yeah.
talking to her.
Yeah.
Like,
Ugh.
duh,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Anyway, so
What I really like is at the beginning she's like insisting on going home
Yes.
the next day,
Yeah.
and you realize at the end it's because she knows that she's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to die.
Yes.
Yep.
And she's like, "No, I have to be at home."
That's
Yep.
right.
And it's like,
That-
I don't know. The
It-
doctor
it's-
says you should stay. And she's like,
like,
no.
There's also some backups. We're not going to talk about them.
No.
Because most 100 issues
outta here.
usually give you a backup where they like reiterate some like core story
Yeah.
or some like value of the character, especially
Sure.
Spider-Man. They always tell you the origin again.
Nah.
But Tiffany, give us Amazing Spider-Man 500.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So
Doctor Strange is
I
in
hate
it.
you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Deal with it.
if you want this, I'll take
No.
the other. All right.
No. It's fine.
So this Spider-Man 500 is a double-sized issue. First of all, we're not doing the backups, but
No.
this starts off. It's part 3 of a story.
Yes.
So, well on to us who didn't know the rest of what was going on. In a
No,
way,
you don't need to know.
You kind of figure it out.
This
like they
is-
do a decent job.
400
of
is like part 9 of,
Right?
of 3,000 parts onslaught.
right, but I mean, like with this, like that part of the story though, like I
It's
don't know.
cemented. Yeah, it's its
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah. But no, they did a really good job for me, like reading this, kind of piecing together what was going on. In this, I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like Remita is really good, both Remitas, because it's
Yeah.
junior and senior.
Yeah.
They're great. I really enjoy this. Not as much as that.
I preferred I actually preferred Ramita Jr.'s art in this.
to Bagley.
I really liked Bagley's art in this. I would not want to
They're both
switch them.
very good.
No,
Yeah.
no, but this is like this really suits the story. But Spider-Man is like lost in time, but like he's in 2 different places at once. He's at like the birth of Spider-Man and also the potential end of Spider-Man.
Yes.
Which is like kind of cool because it's like almost this like Dark Knight sort of feel to
Yep.
it, where it's like this very noir story where he is in the graveyard where Aunt May is buried, and it's a totally different tombstone.
By the way, Aunt May,
has come back, I'm sure.
they retconned this so that that woman who died was an actor who was genetically modified to look like Aunt May.
Well, that's horrible. But then she
So-
died anyway?
In this, like they brought her back,
Oh, because this is
and then in the future she dies of an undisclosed occurrence.
Yeah.
So
Because
you have to
she's
understand
old.
that
But,
in
like-
this story she's back and not
Right.
dead
I wish they'd
anymore.
used the tombstone from that one because this one's just like dearly missed. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Generic.
no kidding.
saying.
Yeah, obviously.
I should hope.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, all right, so like I want to change things, but I'm afraid to change things. 'Cause I don't know what's gonna happen, but like I should. What should I do? I don't know. So he's looking at himself as a young man with like the radioactive spider coming down. He's just like, I could knock the spider over with a web, and then Uncle Ben would never die. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that works, because you didn't stop him.
Yeah, just
you
because
still wouldn't stop him.
yeah, he would still be dead. You just wouldn't have powers anymore. You just wouldn't have gotten revenge.
I mean, I guess he could be like, hey, don't go out.
Right. Except he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
He would have just stopped his dumb, nerdy self.
Yeah. So
Either way.
he's like considering that, and then when he's in the future, he's just like, I could try to stop it and like see how this is gonna play out. And the Spider-Man of the future is, first of all, he knows what's gonna happen. He knows he's gonna die at this point. Like, there's like 1,000 cops there and like
Yeah.
special forces, and like this one guy comes forward and like
It's Detective Lamont.
Yeah.
A Straczynski creation for his art, for his run
I
on Spider-Man.
assume, and that like he's just like turn yourself in. Like apparently Spider-Man killed somebody, or
Right.
is thought to have killed somebody, and he's just like, I can protect you, but you got to turn yourself in because if you don't, they're going to kill you right now because they have like the right to use lethal force at this point.
Another anniversary book, well, not anniversary book, but
Centennial book, yeah.
where Spider-Man is believed to have killed somebody.
Yeah,
that's weird.
but it's the future. It's
I
manslaughter.
It's also like reinforcing his like core values. It's like why like when readers are like, why don't you just kill them? It's like because if he does it one time, they will destroy
he's gonna get
him.
arrested. So
see, this is why.
Yeah,
but the Spider-Man of the future knows that our Peter Parker is there.
Yes, because he remembers.
He's done this. He's just like, I used to be really good at this, and like Lamont's like,
who are you talking to?
Okay.
Me?
So essentially, that like future Peter Parker tells him a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes,
that, like
but nothing useful.
No, he's just like, just make sure you tell Mary Jane you love her and that like it's all worth it and that like you got to go down swinging and just cherish every moment you have. He can't give him anything useful.
No. Well, he says if you do, you'll screw it up.
Yeah. Like, as though, like, it's happened before.
Right.
Or, like, someone messed it up and made it worse. Or maybe that's what he did.
Yeah.
And that's how he got there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or someone told him that that's what'll happen. If
I don't know.
Right? And he also tells him, he's like, there's nothing you can do here.
Right.
Like, you're going to be pulled away too quickly anyway. And so, like, he does kind of have the thought to do it, but instead he just watches him, like, go into the fray. And, like, there's these really cool panels of action sequences where it's just, like, future Spider-Man just pounding on these, like, crazy special forces guys.
Yeah.
And eventually one of them gets a shot off and, like, seemingly kills him. In the past, we see Peter Parker almost decide to push the spider away, but he realizes that while he could potentially save his uncle, he would never be able to save all the people he had saved.
Right.
And so, like, he goes for the greater good there.
So he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything.
He lets, he lets himself die and he lets himself get bit.
Yeah, but he also gets that, like, it's the responsibility he has.
Yes.
So I thought it was very fitting
for
his character. And then he hears a voice, and it's the voice of Doctor Strange, who is also in time, but like a billion years in the future.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's the thing, I can't get to you. So what you're going to have to do is pretty much just go through time until you get back to where you're supposed to be. And you're going to go through your own life. It's almost like he's leaping into himself.
Yeah, he's leaping into himself.
He's like,
boy.
Essentially, he...
Hope he doesn't run into the evil leaper.
No. He won't. Because that's stupid.
Sorry, I'm done. You can continue.
Thanks. So Strange sends out a spell that will help him to get through. It's just basically, it's like a tether.
Yeah.
And, like, so he'll be able to still talk to Spider-Man in a sense, but Spider-Man has to make it through.
Yes.
And so Spider-Man gets, like, whammied with the spell, and when he wakes up, he's in the fight with Sandman from when he was, like, in high school, I think?
High school.
And he's just like, okay. But, like, he also says, oh boy, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
He does say it. That's cool.
But he realizes, he's like, I'm physically here.
Yes.
So if I die here, I ruin the timeline.
Right.
So I have to do the things that I
survive.
did. So he remembers how he defeated the Sandman.
Yeah.
He gets the vacuum cleaner, and as he's about to get that, he ends up poofing into his fight with the Vulture.
Yeah, he has to go through and actually accomplish the thing he did in that moment in order to facilitate the...
Yes.
So he fights the Vulture, and then he fights the Lizard, but he realizes that, like, he's like trying to talk to him, he's like, hey, Dr. Connors, Dr. Curtis Connors. He's like, wait, we haven't met yet? That's going to happen in, like, a half hour?
Right.
So, never mind. So then he fights him for a while, and then he fights Electro, and we see, like, the rubber gloves and the rubber booties, and, like, it's just, like, a really fun way to remind us all the stuff that Spider-Man has been through.
Yeah.
And he's, like, really tired, too. Like,
well, yeah,
he's physically as tired as he was when he started.
Right, because prior to this, they were in a battle in New York.
Yeah, the mindless ones attacked New York and killed all the superheroes. Well, no, they were attacking everything, and then all the heroes brought together like this big gun. They shoot at the mindless ones, which actually is a trick that makes Dormammu show up.
Yeah, because he like rules over them in the dark dimension. So like
they're his like agents.
Yeah.
So Dormammu kills everybody, and one of the mindless ones kills Mary Jane, by the way.
I believe it. So it's like Spider-Man's exhausted to begin, but now he has to go and fight all of these battles back to back.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just so tired. I just need like 5 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like not only physically, because then we also see him run into Betty Brant, who, right?
Yeah, her brother dies.
Yeah, her brother dies, and like Spider-Man is there, and like so now he's going through the emotional, like, you know, being emotionally taxed by like having to go through that.
Yep.
She hits him.
And then we run into Mysterio.
I love the Mysterio scene.
It's amazing.
Yes,
He's like, it's not what it seems. Yes, but what is? In the lair of Mysterio.
And I love Spider-Man's just like, all right, you're just going to give me your plan. If I could just have a chair.
That image of Spider-Man leaning on his knees, just,
Oh, okay.
I don't have to punch him.
Yeah, he's
I
just
can
gonna
just lie
talk to me.
down.
And then, of course, like, immediately, he, like, as though, like, time was like, wait a
Oh
minute.
no, don't take a break.
Yeah, so then he's in his fight with the Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
in which Hulk is not cognizant of, like, who Spider-Man is.
Nope.
And so he gets crushed by rocks, and those rocks turn into the, like, metal building debris from that Spider-Man scene in which he has to, like,
He has
lift
to lift
it.
the heaviest
and,
thing
like,
he's ever lifted.
He's more exhausted than he was at the time.
Yes.
And he has to do it again because he knows otherwise Aunt May won't live.
Yes, because there's a special... She's dying of a disease. There's a cure in the special vial that's a few feet away from him, and he knows if he just needs to get this to her.
Yeah, so he gets to do that again, which is, like, it's kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then...
We also see that scene in Homecoming.
Yes.
Yep.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, look, if we showed you the Betty Brant thing, you had to know it was coming.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Spider-Man has to relive losing Gwen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's about the time that he can't do it anymore, and he doesn't want to do it.
Yep.
And Stranger's like, you have to go. You have to keep doing this. You have to keep going. And he's just like, what's the point? All I'm going to do is watch these people die again.
Right.
There's no point in doing it. And he's just like, we can't save everybody. And he's like, well, what's the point? And, like, you know, and he talks about how, like, the greatest thing that you can give or have in this lifetime is the opportunity to, like, affect change and, like, make a difference in someone's life. And he's had that, like, for, like, 100 lifetimes.
Yeah.
So, like, he's got to keep going. And then, like, Spider-Man asks if it was all worth it. He wonders if it was worth it. And Stranger's like, that's the wrong question.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And, like, he is, like, shaking. Like, he's just
So exhausted.
so exhausted. And then we get this sweet-ass double-page, splash page, of Spider-Man just fighting people. And it's really amazing. And I love all the Spider-Man all over the place. Like, it's just really cool.
Yeah.
And then he's just punching, and he arrives back at, like, where he, like, left, like, a little beforehand. Like,
Yes.
Marty McFly, like, 5 minutes
yeah.
before he needs to be, like, stopping... or not Doctor Strange,
Dormammu.
Mr. Fantastic
Oh,
from
yeah.
shooting the gun, because Stranger's like, you gotta tell him not to do it. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be late.
Magic has to do it.
Yeah.
It's caused by magic. Magic has to stop it. Science isn't gonna work. You're gonna make it worse. So he shows up and he's like, hey guys, you gotta listen to me.
Yeah.
Don't shoot that gun.
Right.
And Mr. Fantastic's like, but I'm super smart.
Yeah, but I already know what.
And he's
Why?
like, okay, it's a really long story, but listen, here's the thing. When you shoot that, it's gonna, like, take all of, like, the energy from whatever and, like, rip a hole, and it's gonna make it worse.
Right. Dormammu. I like how he says,
yeah.
he's a Dormammu or Dormammu,
Yeah.
whoever is gonna come.
He doesn't know. He's like, but Doctor Strange
This
is gonna
isn't filling
be...
you with confidence that I can't even name the guy, but
Yeah.
Trust me,
But
it's
trust
bad.
me, it's bad. And, like, I you know, Doctor Strange is gonna show up.
he does name drop Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
which
so
is
it's
good,
like,
yeah.
but you gotta give him a minute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like, Mr. Fantastic's like, okay, that kind of maybe makes sense, but it's kind of leaping, like, logic here.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Thor's like, he seems to think he's telling the truth. Let's just go and fight people.
Yeah.
I think Thor is pretty much just getting bored at that point.
Yeah.
He's like,
All right. Well, we aren't hitting anybody with my hammer yet, so let's move on, please.
Yes.
And they say like we'll
If I'm
only
not going to shoot the gun right now, then I'm just going to go punch people.
right.
Yeah.
And they're like,
which
we'll,
is
we
what I
will-
wanted to do in the first place.
I don't like it. They're like, we'll only give you a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they give him, like, 20 minutes,
Right.
essentially, because, like, they all go to battle, and then Strange shows up. He does everything he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
He seals the rift. They send all the mindless ones back. New York is destroyed.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Well,
less destroyed than it
Less
would have
destroyed it
been.
would have
I
been,
do like
but it's still messed up.
he does say they're like we'll give you a few minutes, but like then we're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
And he's like these are the hardest minutes for me because they trust me.
Yeah.
And I am using that trust.
Right.
And
I don't even
want-
know.
I don't even know if
what's
I'm
gonna
right.
happen.
Yeah. Right?
But I've earned it.
Right.
And I like that.
And, like, about that time, like, after Strange, like, shows up, he and Spider-Man talk, and, like, Strange reveals, like, that wasn't him.
Well, like the one that shows up in this scene
Yeah.
is a past version of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
It's the one that made it
Right.
through this timeline.
Right.
Yes.
The Doctor Strange that led him through the quantum leap experience
Was
the one from the previous
Yeah.
timeline where everything got
So,
screwed.
Right.
But that just means that our Strange didn't make it back.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he saved the universe, but
Yeah.
he is erased from existence because
Right.
he won't.
Well, but
go
he still
through
could
that
have gotten
anymore.
back, I guess, because they both could have gotten back through time. It's magic. They could have.
Well, he could have put himself back in his own body.
Yes,
like
but
did
he
with Spider-Man,
didn't.
But he doesn't.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe because he can't do that to himself. Maybe he can only do that to other people.
Right?
It's
Well, he
like,
doesn't-
another sorcerer would have to put me back in my own body.
Right. Well, he does allude to the fact that like it's the end of the universe where he is, and so
Yeah.
he probably just dies.
Yeah, he makes a joke about Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark and scary like Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Straczynski likes to put in his weird Jersey jokes.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you've
Thanks
never
a
been
lot.
there.
But
Strange has, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Yes. How droll.
So Doctor Strange gives Peter a present, or Spider-Man a present. He's just like, here, I found this in my pocket. Like,
It was as though the old Doctor Strange
still had come back, but I don't know, or sent it back.
I think he
I
sent
really
it
get the
back.
feeling that you did something very important.
Right,
So
and it's
here.
like, it looks like a little, like,
Sanctum.
like Vishanti birdhouse, like, here you go, and
Yeah.
it's like golden and whatever, and he's just like, I feel like it's a special day for you, and it's like, it's Spider-Man's birthday, and he completely forgot because he was so busy going through time and saving
Saving
the
the
city
world,
yeah.
and the world and all the heroes. So this is the point where I remembered I'd read this book. And so then Spider-Man leaves. Doctor Strange ends up in a battle with Baron Mordo, because he's like, you know, things that change in the timeline, blah blah blah, and it doesn't matter.
You've been messing with time.
Yeah,
Now you have to deal
and-
with me.
And if you want to find out about it, you can read in this Doctor Strange miniseries that you're gonna have to go to an alternate dimension where they actually published it.
Because it didn't come out.
Oh no! That sucks.
Yes.
Spider-Man goes home, and Mary Jane has a little birthday celebration with Aunt May there, and it's you know, whatever, cake and
We don't even bother.
chatting. It just happens, and then Peter's like, he's had a super long day, and I can't even imagine how he made it through this party.
Yeah.
But
It's just the two of them, so it's like, you know.
yeah, but he probably like.
Yeah, he probably nodded off at some point.
But he decides he wants to go up to the roof, get some air, and he's going to open the present. And when he opens up the present from Doctor Strange, it just says, you have 5 minutes. Spend them as you wish. And this is about the point while I was at work that I started to cry again, because I cried the first time I read this issue, because we hear, hello, Peter, and it's Uncle Ben. Like, Strange gave him the opportunity to see his uncle one more time. And, like...
Well, I also love it because he says, like, he keeps begging Doctor Strange for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, here you go.
Here's your 5 minutes.
Here's your 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I also like the Hello Peter, because they use the comic book convention. You don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be Gwen.
Yep.
But no, it's Uncle Ben, which is so, like, perfect. And they have this great conversation. And, like, Uncle Ben is in this mindset that, like...
And it's really Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a ghost.
No, it's really him.
It's Uncle Ben, like...
Because he doesn't
it's
know
like-
he's dead.
But
he's
it's like
taken-
him plucked from time. Where,
Yeah,
like,
it's right between the moment where he dies.
the gun is fired.
Yeah.
And it
heard the
hasn't been
sound of
hit.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like, Strange plucked him out of time
Mm-hmm.
and put him here. And he's just like, hey!
Yeah. You're an adult!
Like, me
Yeah.
and May had a big fight, and I went out for, like, to get some
Yeah,
air.
Straczynski
And, like,
retcons
I
that
thought
they
that
had a
I
fight.
got... Like, I thought I heard, a gunshot. But,
Yeah.
like, anyway, how you doing?
Right.
But then it becomes more obvious that, like, he's probably aware
That he's
Yeah.
dead.
of his situation
Yeah.
as the conversation goes on. But I like that, like, setup where it's just, like, this is him.
Yes.
So, like, you know, he just asks him essentially, like, if he's happy. And, like, that's when Peter realizes that's what the question that Strange thought was the more important one. And he realizes that he is. Like, even regardless of being Spider-Man or, like, whatever, the danger and all that, like, he's really happy with his family and his life.
Yep.
And, like, he's just happy to see Ben. And they have this really great hug. And then Uncle Ben just fades away. And he goes downstairs and he tells Mary Jane how much he loves her.
Yep. Like his future self told him to do.
Exactly. And then they go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
And that's that.
Yep.
And then she gives him his birthday present.
Oh, that's right. She does say that.
Except that, you know, he fell asleep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, because he's freaking tired. Yeah, and so that's the perfect segue
Into Amazing Spider-Man number 600.
because he's so happy in this book with the way his life is in
Yes.
that moment.
Yep.
And by now,
Here, I'll put this one
something
over
horrible
here.
has happened.
Yep.
And everything's different.
Yeah, one more day took place, and Dan Slott is on the book.
Ah, yes. So, I should go over what this. What?
Oh, this is written by Dan Slott and with art by John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
This is Romita, like, at the point where I don't like his art quite as
Yeah,
much.
where it's time for him
Like-
to stop.
Like, some of it's okay, and then some of it's real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lack of consistency at this point.
Yeah.
So we get kind of this is my favorite part of the book. We get a scene with Otto Octavius, and he's talking to his doctor, and he's recounting all the times he got punched in the face.
Yeah, I like that part too.
Yeah. Well, because he's not superpowered.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's just saying, like, I estimated that punch from Spider-Man was like 1,200 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
And you really start thinking about, like, oh wow, yeah, this is just like a regular dude who, like, regularly gets punched by really strong people. Like, he should be dead.
Yes.
And it just goes through every single one. It shows an X-ray of his skull.
Ugh,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
just shattering
Just-
and cracking.
Yeah,
and...
emphasize, like, how much damage this dude has taken.
Yeah.
And basically she tells him, like, you're gonna die. You have a year 18 months or
Yeah,
something. But
because the arms are killing him, or it's not allowing him to heal the radiation.
Well, 'cause
or
he-
something?
yeah,
the radiation that gave him the control.
fused
Yeah.
the arms, yeah.
Like, so like his ability to be Dr. Octopus is what's preventing
Yes,
him from healing
recovering
and
from all
yeah.
these
And the only
blunt
reason why he's
force
punched in the
traumas.
head is for being Dr. Octopus in the first place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So then, like, he refuses the reality of his diagnosis. He screams, "No!" And he vows that no one will ever forget the name Dr. Octopus.
Right.
Not his name, but the name of Dr. Octopus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we go to a fight. It's a bar brawl.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Spider-Man and Daredevil are beating people up in the bar with no name.
Which is not to be confused with the bar with no doors.
Right. The bar with no
Yeah.
name is a supervillain hangout, whereas the bar with no doors is a magic spot.
I'd rather hang out there.
Well, yeah.
And the bartender, proprietor, is like, "Hey, you're wrecking everything. That pool table costs a lot of money."
No
And
blasters!
I didn't understand at first that it was a supervillain bar, so I'm like, "Wow, Spider-Man's just like destroying this guy's bar. That sucks." And then you find out the police show up, and they bust the place.
That was probably my favorite panel in this whole book.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where Blindside tries
Yeah.
to blind
I got
Daredevil.
you, Daredevil. You're totally useless now. You're blind.
Yeah. And I guess he's never heard of Daredevil.
No, Daredevil doesn't indicate that he's blind.
Well, nobody really knows that he's blind.
Oh, nobody knows
yeah,
Daredevil's blind?
it's just,
Oh, that's really
just
funny.
so funny
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
That
Some
was
people
funny.
do, but like,
And Spider-Man,
It's
and
not a
I do
common-
appreciate Spider-Man's quip after that.
yeah.
Yes, it's just not your night, is it? It throws him through a window.
Yep.
And the cops show up, like, "Scatter, it's the Fuzz!" And Hydro Man goes down the toilet, which is
Yep.
also really funny.
Yeah.
And then, like, the cops show up, and they just let the bad guys get away, because the smart cop is like, it wouldn't do any good anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're after bigger game.
Oh.
And then Spider-Man and Daredevil talk on the roof, and you find out that Daredevil tipped off
Yeah.
the police.
It's like a Batman-Gordon relationship,
Yeah.
sort of. That's what it seems like, or
Right.
that's what they're making it out to be.
Yeah.
Right. And it turns out they're going to bust the entire bar, the owner of the bar, for not having a liquor license.
Right.
And that was
That's their like
Daredevil's-
tax evasion joke.
Yes, that was Daredevil's plan, because he's a lawyer, you see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how. That's the only way we're gonna get him.
Yeah. So that's kind of a fun team-up between
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he offers to like give him a secret identity because like he's put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
He's-
And he's
Yeah,
also hell-bent to...
to tell him, he's
He
like,
really
I gotta
wants
tell
to
you.
tell everyone his secret identity, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, because they used to know who each other was, and those are more fun stories to tell.
Oh.
But it also makes no sense for him to do this at this point. So Daredevil's like, Don't do that."
Yeah, why would you do that?
Right.
What are you doing?
Well, but I told like the New Avengers and like the Fantastic
Right.
Four and everybody because they milked all the story potential from that concept that like nobody knows who Spider-Man is. So wouldn't it be fun to see the reactions of people finding out who's
Right,
Spider-Man
finding out
again?
who's Spider-Man.
But they found out very quickly that that's not fun. It's kind of like more of a novelty than it is a story convention. So Daredevil is deliberately resisting it in this story.
Yeah. And he's like, don't.
Don't do it.
Everyone else knows, but it's better if I don't. Which is like, yeah,
Yeah.
don't tell
It's
anyone
dumb.
your secret identity.
Don't do that.
Why would you have a secret identity in the first place if you're just going to tell everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the fact that you had one signifies that you understood the need for it.
Yes.
So why are you acting like you don't understand the need for it now?
Yeah.
Because he's also meant to be like, he's supposed to act younger.
Yes,
So he's acting
yes.
like kind of a moron.
Yes.
I
He's
guess.
acting like a fucking asshole in this whole book.
Yes.
He's just a stupid, obnoxious douche, and he's also like clearly in his 30s, so it's like really obnoxious.
Yes. Oh wow! So you stumbled upon the fallacy of of unmarrying Spider-Man, but not making him go back in time.
Yeah. So then we're at the Daily Bugle.
Oh, here's some context. The Daily Bugle's not really Daily Bugle anymore, and
This is
Frontline
Frontline.
is
Frontline.
is the main newspaper now.
Right.
It won't be
Is
for
that
long.
the name that they established in Civil War?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And
But Parker works there,
yeah,
and he tosses a flash drive like, "Hey, got some pictures for you."
yep. J. Jonah Jameson's the mayor of New York,
Yes.
which is a really fun plot idea, but no,
Yes.
they don't ever do anything.
And the headline story on the paper he's holding up is "Mayor's Anti-Spider Budget,"
yes,
which I assume is a reference to him trying to defeat Spider-Man through the resources of the city.
that's right.
Is that why he became mayor?
No, he became mayor because he was like dissatisfied with like everything. You know,
Okay.
Because J. Jonah Jameson's ego didn't fit in the publisher's room anymore.
Right.
Right. And then they drop some references to the fact that there's a wedding afoot.
Yes.
Peter Parker's aunt
is marrying J. Jonah Jameson's father.
Yes, J.
Yeah,
J-A-Y. J.
But he's also J. Jonah Jameson Sr.
Yes.
But they call him J, so you don't
So
get
does that mean
confused.
it's J. Jonah Jameson Jr.?
Yeah.
JJJJ?
Yeah. That's a Slott joke
Quadruple J.
to a T.
Yep.
This was the page, this was the panel right here that I realized that Dan Slott was just making up like drama that didn't deserve to be there. Because he's just like, of course now is the time that I decided to conserve web fluid when I'm late to my aunt's like rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess he's poor.
Yeah, he's broke again.
He's broke.
Right,
He's
but
broke
like
again. He's right
your
back.
aunt's gonna get married.
Yeah, but I
So-
gotta conserve my web fluid
Why?
because I don't have any money, and I might need it to fight bad guys.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you just travel as Spider-Man then by web, like wall crawling
And jumping.
yeah, like you do later in the book.
Like you did before you invented web fluid.
because Slott needs a reason for him to be late.
Yes, he's like, because Peter Parker's always late.
Right?
Up and
Remember
down,
that?
He's missing all the important stuff in his life, but they still love him.
Yeah.
And indeed, Aunt May is like, oh, that's just Peter
Yeah,
being
he's all,
Peter.
remember that weird time from like age 15 to age like 22 when he was always late to everything and then he wasn't and for like a long time and
Well,
then he
he is
suddenly
again.
relapsed and started being late again.
Yeah. Yep.
Poor Peter.
Yep.
Poor Peter
You know,
Parker.
he's always like that, except he wasn't always like that, but now he's always like that again.
Yep.
So...
And J. Jameson was created for this book, so like he doesn't know. He's like, well, he seems like an asshole to me.
No, he
he's
gives
so
him a
nice
pass.
about it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, but he shouldn't because he
He's
doesn't
like,
even
he's
know
like,
this
but you're
guy.
better than my son.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, obviously.
Yeah, right? Like,
Although
oh,
your son's
gee.
the mayor, like, he did pretty good for himself.
Yeah, but he's also J. Jonah Jameson.
But he's like
And
an
he-
evil mayor,
and
though.
And like, here's the thing: he says it. Like, he's like, Peter's late, but he wants to be here. My son
Right,
doesn't
yeah.
even want to be here.
That's
Yeah,
true,
which
and he's
is a
right.
good point. So,
Yeah.
Peter's only,
So he's
like,
like, stop
the
giving him a hard
second
time,
worst
May.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, May's not.
Even though she's like, what? I just said he was just late. That's all. I just addressed he was late.
Yeah, like, he's feeling bad, and May's like, no, it's okay. I know you did your best. Your best.
Only losers whine about their best. Winners don't conserve their web fluid when their aunt's getting married.
Winners get their marriage dissolved by the devil.
Yes. Anyway,
he
so
says
Doc
he's gonna
Ock's-
walk May down the
Yeah,
aisle.
and
Yeah.
that's the panel which I was like, and that's going to be the convention for this book. That's cute. It's a wedding. He's going to try to be fighting his way to walk her down the aisle.
Yep.
And it's going to be late.
Yep.
But he's
Right.
going to get there
He's
just in
gonna
the
get
nick of
there.
time.
No, but this book's 200 pages. We gotta fit some more
Yeah.
stupid story in here.
That
So.
literally doesn't like happen at all. There's like no reason
There's
for her
no,
to say that.
no.
It's just-
No.
she put so much emphasis on
Yeah.
him being
Doc
there.
Ock has a
Nothing
master
set up.
plan.
Nothing set up at all. So we see little spider creature bots.
Octobots.
Octobots.
Look,
Yeah.
spiders have 8 legs. Octopuses have 8 legs.
I guess Dan Slott saw Minority Report,
Yeah.
because these are the little things from Minority Report.
Oh, big
yeah.
time.
Crawling around.
Yeah.
And they're like infecting machines and stuff.
All
and,
over New York, yeah.
And like
Doc Ock's sitting in like a control room. Oh yeah.
things
I don't
that
know.
aren't machines.
Yeah, anything mechanical, he says, which I guess could be anything. Anything
Right.
that has a moving part
Is a machine.
or is electronic. And he sees a picture of Spider-Man on the newspaper. He's like, Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man, but I'm not dealing with that right now. He's irrelevant. And, there's Aunt May. I used to love her. I loved her. She's getting
When did
married,
that
but I don't
happen?
care about that. I have
like
other
the
stuff.
70s.
Okay.
Maybe the 60s, but like there was a big stupid story where like Doc Ock's gonna marry Aunt May.
Yeah.
It's really silly.
He references it. Basically, he references it to show that he's aware of it happening, but that he doesn't care about it.
Right.
Except he totally does. So,
I love that he disregards Spider-Man even though he's his greatest nemesis.
yes. But he's like beyond that now.
Right, because
Right.
like his goal isn't to do bad.
To defeat
Right. He's
Spider-Man,
not trying
no.
to destroy the world or take over the world. He's trying to save the world.
Right.
Yeah, he's
trying
that
to be
kind
the
of villain
hero.
right
Yeah,
now.
no, he's that villain until he
Yeah.
isn't.
Right. Which he never was and won't be again.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's
guess he will be
When he's
when
Superior,
he's Superior
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he's not trying to save the world. He's just being an asshole.
Yeah. So it's just a different kind of asshole.
Yeah.
I'm a different kind of asshole. So then we go back to May's house, and they're trying to put stuff together for the wedding. They're planning stuff.
So they're actually planning it. Unlike,
Well, it's already planned. I
Yeah,
think.
And then everything comes apart all at the same time. Like, they all
Yeah.
get phone calls about
the venue's not no
venue's
good.
double booked, the catering service has been shut down, the minister is no longer certified.
He's
for
like
the
dead or
ceremony.
something. No, I'm kidding.
And the license for the record of marriage, the record for the marriage license is lost or
Yeah.
gone, or there's some kind of problem with that. So then Jay is like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. I'm going to go take care of this.
Yeah.
And you go to a J. Jonah Jameson campaign rally style event where he's showcasing his plan to help the city, which is to bring swimsuit models in. And that's going to turn things around. And then some jackass shouts, 4 more years. 4 more years. And the reporter is like, are you going to, like, show us anything that's, like, helpful? Or, like, how is this actually going to help anything except, like, that guy over there who's
very excited,
about the supermodels.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't worry. I assure you, I have the interests of the city at heart." And then his dad shows up and it's like screaming at him for ruining his marriage.
And all the reporters are like, yeah.
Oh,
What a scoop!
excellent.
Mayor's a douche.
Yeah.
Film at 11.
Old news.
Yeah.
So then Jay goes back to his apartment and he's attacked by Octobots.
He's super wealthy?
Yeah.
I guess. Aunt May goes to Ben's grave.
Yep.
To ask him, like, are you giving me a sign that, like, I shouldn't do this?
Right.
Like, are you, like, is your ghost, like, messing up my marriage? Well, she
Right.
doesn't say those words, but, like, that's the only thing that she
That's
could mean.
totally what she's doing. I also love that there's a bench right by his grave, as though she's come there so much. They're like, just
Give
put
May
a
a
bench in.
Let's give her a
Poor
chair.
old
This poor
woman.
old lady is
Give her
sit
someplace
there.
to sit. Meanwhile, Peter's trying to find a date to the wedding because he's a swinging
And
bachelor
it's like
now.
the next day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has put no thought into it because he's irresponsible.
Yep.
He's always late to everything, including asking out Carly.
Carly Cooper, a creation of Dan Slott.
Yeah, someone I never heard of. Who
Yep.
works...
She's invented for the story, and then she's unceremoniously kicked out of the book.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
First, they gave her
So
goblin
is
eyes.
she a cop or a...
Yeah, she's a forensic person.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She
So
works for
she's-
the police department as a forensic, like.
But she's not actually a cop.
She is a...
I think she is a cop because I think she has a badge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's a forensic cop. They make a joke about it. She's not a real cop. But she's like, no, I am.
Yeah, I
I
really
just work in forensics.
exactly.
Do you see on that bottom panel there on the right how Peter Parker is getting from point A to point B without
Yes.
using his web fluid, but
Boy.
it's happening
Yeah,
rapidly?
he jumps on top of a taxi that's going in the direction he wants
Only
to
he had
go.
done that like
Yeah,
a day
he
before.
would have made it to the
Rehearsal dinner.
rehearsal dinner. But he doesn't do that. Then he, like, in the middle of this phone call, he asks her out and then says, oh, wait, I gotta go before she can answer. Or before he can, explain himself or, like, try to convince her. And he just tells her to hold on.
Aunt May calls.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
like,
Jay's not in his
missing.
part. Yeah, Jay's missing, so he's gotta go deal with that. So, then things start exploding around him. It's like, what? What's
Well, hang
happening?
on. He puts her on hold, but then he gets back to her and like is like, I'm gonna go over there, and she's
That's
like,
right.
I'll come.
He gets and she offers to meet him there, and he doesn't like complete his like ask about
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to the wedding.
He also
with
doesn't
him.
complete his "Don't come with me because I'm gonna be Spider-Man."
Right.
Yeah, no, he tries to make it work. Like, oh, well, I'm just gonna be there real quick, in and out. But I
Yeah.
guess his plan is like beat her there, deal with
Whatever.
whatever's happening,
villainy.
there, and then turn back into Peter Parker, and then
And then
talk
have a
to
date
her.
to the wedding.
yeah, and I guess try to convince her to go to the wedding.
Or like
Yeah.
be Spider-Man and be like, you should go to the wedding with Peter Parker.
Yeah,
He was pretty great.
It's even though he couldn't make it here to meet you, and he said he would.
Yeah.
I think he's just around the corner. I just stay here for a second.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
She's a huge Spider-Man fan, by the way.
Oh yeah.
She has a tattoo of him, like
Oh,
right above
why
her
doesn't he
crotch.
just tell her he wants to tell everyone he's Spider-Man? Why doesn't he just tell her?
And she because he can't because he's got to keep it a secret.
But
Because
he's
that's more
not keeping
drama
a
that
secret
way.
from everyone else.
Don't worry, she finds out.
Yeah,
and
but
then she breaks
Daredevil's
out with
like super cool and like he's like legit, so you know he's got to impress him.
him.
yeah. He doesn't have to impress the girl he likes.
Yeah.
So the whole city like goes haywire. Like the he swings off a lamp and it gets electrified, and something explodes. The transformer blows up right next to him, and then the cars start like their brakes fail around him, and a fire hydrant explodes. So he's like, oh, I better get to the bottom of this. So meanwhile, Carly goes where she said she goes to Jay's apartment, and she meets a reporter who's trying to break in.
Yeah.
For seemingly very little reason.
Very little reason. She said, she just wanted to, like, she was there, or she heard that he got in a fight with his son, the mayor, and so she wants to see what's going on.
She wants to get some follow-up questions, I guess.
Yeah, and the neighbor said they heard sounds of struggle, so that's how she justifies breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
So they go in, and sure enough, everything's wrecked, and they find one of the Octobots on a golf club.
Yep.
He got one.
Yeah.
He got one.
And then-
there were
and-
hundreds of them, and he got one.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Doc Ock, who goes into more detail about his plan.
And like suits up like Vader.
Yeah, he has his arms like put a helmet or take a helmet off of him, and he's gross and bald underneath.
Yeah.
And then he projects an image of himself not gross looking.
Yeah.
To the whole city on every device.
If that's
everywhere.
the case, why didn't you just make him thin and attractive?
Well, because he has never been that.
Yeah, he took stock footage of himself.
That's true.
And he's basically saying, like, don't worry, I'm here to fix everything. All my machines will make everything run better.
Well, you're blowing everything up. How's that making anything
But he
better?
doesn't realize that.
He's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out.
Right.
Right. These are a couple of bugs.
You think the telephone worked the first time?
No, it exploded. In Alexander Graham Bell's hand.
You know, when they opened Disneyland in 1932 or
Sank
whatever,
into the
nothing
in the
worked.
ground.
7 children were lost that day.
Yeah, John, but when the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the
tourists.
tourists.
Yeah.
So Jameson's like, what's happening? How's he taking over the city? Like, how's he able to do this? Should we call it the National Guard? And they're like, well, you could call it the National Guard. Like, you have a line to the mayor. It's like, oh, well, I don't know. What would that cost us?
Right.
Consciously, Doc Ock may be
Trying to fix
trying
everything.
to fix everything, but subconsciously, he's attacking me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you even grant him that? Why would you grant what
that
he's
that
saying?
he wants to. Yeah. That it's
Like,
not all
he's
just
just
lies.
saying he's trying to help the city, but you know he's not because he's a supervillain and a narcissist and an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
you should conclude that he's just
Lying.
evil and lying, but
Yeah.
no, he concludes correctly
Yes.
so that we know
Right.
that Doc Ock consciously wants to help everybody, but his subconscious, he doesn't have full control of the
Yeah.
robots. In other words, they're messing stuff up, and that's when I figured out, like, oh, he's the one who sabotaged the wedding.
Yep.
Yes.
Because that's why we got the reveal earlier, or the mention earlier.
Him being like, oh, we could have been married together.
Yes, May, I loved her.
Yeah.
But no time for that now. But subconsciously, his brain's like, no!
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah.
That's when we get the manhole cover exploding upward with it is water coming out. Well, it's water and steam. So
Yeah.
really unclear how that happened.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Mm-hmm.
He also makes light bulbs explode.
He overloads them with energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he and somehow a
Painter scaffolding falls
Yeah.
on Spider-Man.
because that's mechanical. It
Yeah,
is,
technically.
yeah. So Spider-Man saves a guy who's cleaning windows, and then everyone's like, "Good job, Spider." Well, one guy's like, "Thanks, Spider-Man." They're like, "Thanks. It's all his fault that everything's going haywire."
Yeah, how do they figure that out?
I don't know. They figured it out because, like, we need to figure it out, I
Yeah.
guess.
Because Spidey can't catch a break, man. That's
yeah.
why.
But, like, how would they... Never mind.
It's really... Well, because Otto Octavius is Spider-Man's greatest villain, so clearly, subconsciously, he's trying
Yeah.
to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, every Joe on the street is a big Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
So
So then the Avengers show up.
Yeah.
And then we get a joke about how many Avengers teams there are right now, because they say they're the real Avengers.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, nope, they're someone
Which
else too.
Avengers team is this?
This is, I think, just the new Avengers.
I was going to say, because
No Avengers.
Yeah.
Luke Cage is on it,
Mhm.
and, is that Echo, technically? Or, right, I know it's Ronan.
No, it's Hawkeye as Ronan.
Okay.
Yeah, Spider-Man...
Yes, I guess it couldn't be because they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, Echo talks.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh, she's deaf.
Yeah.
I thought she couldn't talk.
No, she does.
Okay. Well, there you go.
She just chooses not to some of the time.
That's true.
perhaps.
But,
Yeah.
no.
She's a ninja.
Anyway, they tell him to screw off.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need you. And
So he's
you're this whole thing's your fault anyway.
Okay.
So he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll leave then.
I'm not treated like this on any of the Avengers books that I appear in, but
yeah.
I'll be like that anyway because I'm down on my luck.
They figured out, too,
Schlub.
that it's after Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
they're like, you're
Yeah.
just making it worse.
Yep, and, well, Wolverine's, like, super antagonistic, though.
Because he's like that.
He's saying, I'm going to pop a claw in his ass. But they can't say ass.
Oh, yeah, no,
they
that would
put
be pretty
skull
bad.
crossbones instead. And then he says the same thing.
Yeah.
Pop a claw in your ass.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
It's
Then
coming.
Spider-Man asks, which claw? And you
Well-
don't see it, but you hear snicked.
So you know it's the middle claw.
You know which claw it was.
Her. That was a funny joke in 2000 when the X-Men movie came out.
Gunthar says, actually, X-Men came out in whatever year.
It was 2000.
It was 2000? Okay.
Yeah.
He gets a phone call from Carly, who's like, hey, I'm figuring it out. I'm tracking... I've used the Spider-Bot and my tracking device to track the
It's
signal.
an Octobot.
Octobot,
Because
whatever.
Spider-Bots come later.
That's
Yes.
right. They all have 8 legs. It's confusing. So he's like, you gotta get out of there. Like, that's super dangerous. Well, because he figures
scary.
out it's an octopus bot. He's like, oh no,
Right.
that's Doc Ock. Like you're going right where he is.
Yep.
And so he gets the Human Torch to help him because they used to team up way back in the day.
And
Yeah.
Dan Slott made his bones writing a book called Spider-Man and the Human Torch. It's a miniseries.
Also, Sue and Reed realized how much they didn't need Johnny for this, so they're just like,
Yeah, why don't you go play with your friend?
Yeah, because literally they're just strapping a thing on the thing
Yep.
that will fix the problem.
yeah.
So Johnny, you can bail.
Yeah, so you can go. I don't really need you.
Um,
Then we see that Doc Ock has captured the two girls, and then he reveals that it's not just New York. He's going to infect the whole world with these Octobots and save the world and make it the world of Dr. Octopus.
Right.
Which
He
just
also
rolls
has-
off the tongue.
Yeah.
He also has 4 more.
Oh, yeah,
Mechanical
he's got
arms.
extra arms. Yeah, he's got 8 arms now.
Yeah.
And he's not using his real limbs at all. He's become fully mechanical octopus man,
Yeah.
I guess, is the idea.
It's truly a new and awesome version of Doc Ock.
Yeah, he looks great. So Spider-Man and Human Torch go to where the phone was dropped, where he lost the signal from the girls.
They trace the signal, they go to the
They signal,
place, they
get-
save the girls.
Doc Ock's first laboratory or whatever. It's all callbacks. This whole book's
Yeah.
callbacks.
I've read Spider-Man.
Yeah, and they save the girls. He fights Doc Ock. He beats him.
Yep.
Yep.
He beats him by doing the thing that the Fantastic Four were going to do, which is he picks up a helmet that
Yeah,
like
that
sends
transmits the
out
signal.
brainwaves. He
Yeah.
picks up Doc Ock's helmet, and he uses stronger brainwaves.
Yeah.
And Doc Ock's like, "How? Oh, but you can't possibly beat
Because I'm a
my
genius."
super brainwaves." And he's like, "Well, I got lots of tricks up my sleeve or whatever. You don't know everything about me. You don't know me, Doc Ock. I'm actually a super genius,
Yeah.
like you." And Doc Ock's like, "No, I was." Oh, they try to make you feel bad for him.
Yeah.
It's like I don't though.
But
He's
why
an
would
asshole.
I? Yeah.
And he's
Is,
gross.
is this Slott setting up Superior Spider-Man,
Yes.
or he hasn't had this thought yet?
I think he is actually setting it up because the Octobots come into play, the brainwaves he steals
Yeah.
from the helmet.
And I was thinking, like, is this when it happens?
I thought the
Right.
same thing.
He transfers himself at this moment.
No, he does that in Spider Island.
Okay.
He uses the
Spider-Man uses the-
Octobots to like reverse all the issues.
Yes.
yeah.
Except the only thing he hasn't fixed, I guess, is the efficient,
Right.
who
Yeah.
maybe lost his license legitimately.
Yeah, maybe he was just a creep.
Or like, you can't. They're like, no, you just lost your license. Like this robot pet that you brought along is not going to convince me to give it to you. But like,
What is it,
how
crawl
would
in
he
there?
do?
Yeah. No, it's okay. Here it is. What? You don't have authority.
Yeah. So Spider-Man fixes everything with his brain, and then the spider things are like still they're on a separate network.
Yes.
Which like how could they be? The mind control thing is literally how he made
Well,
them
maybe
do anything.
just those are.
Yeah, like
Maybe
he's got like a separate set of them
Yeah.
in the base
Yeah,
that can't
they're
be.
usually for cleaning. Him.
Ew.
Yeah,
So they're all over Spider-Man. He's like, oh no, I can't. There's too many of them. And
Yeah.
then Human Torch comes back and
burns them all up.
Human Torch does like a fireball spell in D&D where you did it too close to your teammates.
he had left to get the girls to safety, but he came back.
Yep.
Which you didn't know, so it's like, oh, it's a surprise, yay!
Yeah.
But the the Octobots carry Doc Ock away
Yeah.
into an escape hatch,
Yeah.
and so he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll
then,
meet again, Spider-Man.
yep, it's
Yeah.
exactly
we
that.
will never not meet again as
Yeah.
long as Dan Slott's writing this book.
So then all the heroes gather on the roof for a picture that nobody took,
Yep.
and they're like, "Wow, you saved the day, Spider-Man!"
Right, and he like mentions the like not knowing who he is and how he's just like maybe that's a good idea. And then the Fantastic Four talk about who he is right in front of the people who.
Oh, they all do too.
They
No,
do too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
all
Avenger.
do.
Everybody
These
does.
are the
Okay.
people who know
The only
who
people
he
who, the only
is.
person who doesn't know is Daredevil, which is why Spider-Man wants to tell him so bad.
Yeah. It's like, but Daredevil, like, he's left out. It's like, Daredevil doesn't want you to tell him. Shut up.
Yeah.
And then you find out that Human Torch actually asked out Carly.
Yeah.
No, Carly asked him.
Oh, Carly
right.
asked him. That's right.
That's right.
He was hitting on her as he was rescuing her, and she kind of liked that, so she asked him out.
Yeah.
Because because Peter Parker was a tool bag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and Carly was already invited to the wedding. She had a plus
that's
one.
right.
She did have
She
plus
was
ones.
So
invited
she was
separately.
just like,
Yeah, I'll bring him.
yeah. What
Yep.
do you think about that, Peter?
Yeah.
Peter thinks, Peter's just like, oh shit, I guess I'm going stag, and then his hot roommate
Yes.
was like, oh, you're going stag? Well,
I guess I'll go with you.
I'll
go
just
with
get
you.
my like designer red carpet dress.
Yep. The book points out they're very platonic roommates.
She
They have
can't
not
stand
banged.
him. She hates him. Like she
Ah.
thinks he's an idiot and a jackass.
Well, she is correct.
yes.
In this book,
But then she
anyway.
feels bad for him.
Yeah.
The way that she
Is when she starts to feel for him a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, I
because he's
guess.
Jerry.
because he's just so hapless.
Yeah.
So she goes to the wedding, and she's just like, she's just super hot.
Yeah,
in
and
that
everyone's
fancy
like,
dress.
wow.
Whoa, who's that chick? And, Peter talks to Aunt May.
Yep.
And
Gives her away.
He gives her away, and it's real nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Who's the efficient though?
Yeah, the efficient. That's why the efficient couldn't be fixed, because the efficient is J. Jonah Jameson Jr.
Yep.
Lol.
I want to point out too that May is getting married, and she's the one that gives him the uplifting speech
Yes.
instead of him being like, "You've taken
Yeah.
care of me forever."
Yes.
And like, I'm just so happy to see.
Oh
you.
yeah, man, I'm feeling really bad.
Like,
No, he doesn't. He says you look beautiful.
yeah, I know, but she still
She's
shouldn't
like,
have
yeah,
given
but you
him.
look
gives her
really
the whole
sad.
speech.
Yeah. He should have given her the speech.
I know.
First, he looks like a total goober up there in his brown suit, and then
Yeah.
Also, man, that's gonna be an insult to J. Jonah Jameson. Peter's his best man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is Jay's best man.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no,
his dad wasn't even gonna, or his son wasn't even gonna like
Still,
be a part of it. So
Yeah.
he's like, he's not gonna make.
what a
him-
start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
what even happens in this book? I
Oh,
don't
they
remember.
throw the bouquet,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh no,
Oh, you
who's...
see
Oh,
someone.
they talk about Harry Osborn. They're like,
and then we see.
how
a
can
cab.
Harry Osborn not come? And I'm like, Harry Osborn? Harry Osborn's fucking dead.
Not anymore. On one more day, I made it.
But then we see a cab, and you think like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
it is.
Harry's coming.
It's right
trying
after
to
they
get
talk about
there.
Harry, so it's Harry.
Yeah.
Harry's coming. He's always
gonna-
late, but he's gonna make it.
Yep.
And they
throw
throw
the
the
bouquet.
bouquet. And who catches the bouquet?
Single Mary Jane.
And Aunt May's like, "What have you done, Anna Watson?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
And she's like, I had a +1 too. And you're like,
Yeah, like
why
so now
are you...
Aunt May doesn't like Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, I guess not. That's new. That was invented for this.
Oh, neat.
It's not talked about or discussed because after one more day, they were like, get rid of her.
Right.
Get her out of the book for a while. So
Also-
people don't get mad at us.
I guess
and
because
send us
it's
more
so
hate mail.
awkward.
Yeah.
Because they used to be married.
No, but nobody
No,
knows
because
that
they're
they
not.
get married.
They were never married.
Oh yeah.
No, Peter stood
It's
her up
so
at the
awkward
altar.
because she was part of so many love triangles with Peter long ago.
It's
No,
so
but it's because
awkward.
she used to be his live-in roommate that was super serial. All the stories
Oh,
where they were
yeah.
married still happen. It's just that one day they broke up.
Right.
It was right after Aunt May got shot by a sniper.
I was gonna say it's
That they broke
super
up.
awkward because she's clearly wearing an old bridesmaid's dress.
Yeah,
Yes.
that too. Yeah. And she's like, "Hey, gang, sorry I'm late. What'd I miss?"
Yeah, and
the
Dan
whole
Slott's like,
wedding?
"Don't worry, everybody. Aunt May, or don't." Dan Slott's like, "Don't worry, everybody. Mary Jane's back in the book. I will do 0 things with this character."
Yep. It's funny. You get her reveal. They completely drop the face of tiger or anything like relating
no.
to that or like that kind of sass. It's just,
Yep. It's just she's just a dick.
Yeah, well, like everybody.
Yeah, like everybody in this book, she's a total asshole. Everyone except Aunt May and Jay.
And
Jonah
Jay
Jameson
Sr..
Yeah.
But don't worry, he dies. So
Great.
That's nice for
so
her.
she's a twice widower.
Cool.
And the boyfriend she had that she was going to marry also is killed by the vulture, so she's like almost a 3-time widower.
Right? And like Peter's love for her won't let her ever die.
That's right. She can't even be with her husband because he would rather make a deal with the devil and keep her alive just a few more freaking years longer. Yikes.
Anyway,
So there's
Ugh.
400, 500, 600. Which is the good? Which one's the bad? Which one's the ugly?
This is the ugly.
yes. That's the ugly, and I gotta be honest with you, these are both the good to me.
Yeah, they're both great.
I have no bad in this situation.
no.
I do think that's the ugly.
It's ugly. It's not even the bad. It's just
No.
It's
just ugly.
it's pretty
It's
ugly.
bad looking.
It's clunky.
It's clunky as hell.
It's clunky because it's so obvious you're just trying to fill pages.
yeah.
And like there could have been a story there, but you let the desire to have a longer book get the better of you.
Yes.
And it's over.
Yeah.
But it's the worst version of Peter Parker I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
And we
in
didn't
my
do the
Right.
backups, but the backups in this are awful.
Great.
Well, I'm glad I didn't read them.
Yeah.
And while this has like the it's continuity, it's whatever's happening
You're-
in there.
I guess this has to be the good. I mean, I'm sorry.
No.
This is
To me, that's
technically
the
the
bad.
bad.
I don't have a bad,
but it's not bad.
and I say that only because like the death scene in this is so powerful that
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
undoes anything.
It really
else that
does. Like
happens in it.
anytime, like I love she dies, and then the next panel, it's just Ben Riley crying.
And I think it's like it's like
Oh, no,
strong
these are
shooting
visuals,
stars.
like,
Oh.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Like,
it's gorgeous.
So for me, neither of those are.
It's
bad.
very well done. To me, it's still the bad
technically
because
if,
it's worse
if there are
than
3
this.
criteria,
I
but this is the
prefer
best
this book,
one.
I'm
but
not-
there are great moments. In
I
it.
don't know. Like I do like this. This like hit me.
Yeah.
Like-
This one's much more emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one.
Emotional.
That
Really
also hit
impactful.
me, but in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah.
This one's a perfect Spider-Man comic. This one
Yeah.
is a beautiful sequence,
Yeah.
and this sucks.
Yeah. But it's like, it's not even just the sequence, because it's like anything dealing with anime up to that,
Oh,
like
it's
you
great.
have to have all of it.
The reveal that she knew who he was the
Oh
whole
my
time
God.
is so great.
If this hadn't been in the Clone Saga,
It would have been-
for me. This would have been the good.
Yeah.
it would have been
topped
Spectacular
this
Spider-Man
book,
200 when
Or if
Harry
it-
Osborn dies.
Or if it had been like an annual.
yes.
Where they decided to kill her, because then they could have just not put it in the continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a bad. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
I don't
breaking
blame
the
you. I'm not
criteria.
going to say it's bad. I mean, we've done that before.
Yeah.
We've said there's been no bad,
Yeah.
but this is the best one. Yeah. So there you have it, everybody. Oh, woof. And we were gonna do 6, 7, 800, which were all written by Dan Slott. They were all double-sized, and they all star Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think Ethan and I
Thank
probably...
God we didn't
Did
do
you
that.
read them in this order?
Yes.
Because that's the way I read it,
me too.
So, like, emotional gut punch. And I got to this, and I was just like,
Whoa.
Yeah.
and it just wouldn't end.
It just keeps going.
I remember
Forever.
I had
Yeah.
It will not stop
After
until
I-
you hate Spider-Man.
I dropped.
It's like a Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can't be
suck.
bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. Doesn't know pity or remorse. Yeah. Or talent. It's just like after One More Day, I dropped Spider-Man, and then I'd heard rumblings about Dan Slott being great, and so I picked this up, and I'm like, oh no, he loves Spider-Man. But
He has a funny way of showing it.
It is a funny way of showing it. That's
It's
really what it is.
amazing how much it goes to shit between 500 and
Oh my god,
Like,
yeah.
These are basically the same character in these two books.
Yes.
Right.
In Spider-Man. I don't know who the fuck this is.
Oh, and
Yeah.
and major continuity shifts, by the way. Aunt May dies.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, ugh. She is resurrected? And then he finds out, or she finds out he's Spider-Man all over again.
Yeah.
And then you have this. And it's still the same guy.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
still
And then
basically
major
works.
seismic shifts happen in another 100 issues, and this is just it's a different cast of characters.
Yeah.
Aunt May is totally different.
Yep.
Because she's in
Mary
all these
Jane's
books.
totally different.
Mary Jane's totally different. Peter's totally different.
Was DeMatteis writing anything else, or did they just bring him in for this?
No, DeMatteis had been writing Amazing
Okay.
Spider-Man. Or Spectacular. He and Michelini kind of like floated.
Okay. Because I was just going to say, like...
I think they brought him in to do this.
And I only asked that because, like, the Aunt May stuff is just handled so well, and, like, he is that kind of writer
Oh yeah.
for me at
No,
times.
he's the guy. I mean, like he killed Harry Osborn, and it's the best Spider-Man death. It's one of the best Spider-Man deaths. The two best Spider-Man deaths written in comics are by DeMatteis.
There you go.
By the way, some people are like, "Well, you're an old school Spider-Man fan. You hate new stuff." These guys don't read Spider-Man, and we all agree this isn't good.
No.
Yeah, I did not
It's-
enjoy this.
It's just...
It's trite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Again.
It's like the characters are like, they're all quippy, and there are some really funny jokes in this.
There are
There's
some
really
genuinely
funny parts,
cool moments.
But it's just like too much. It's just like, stop.
These two books, for me, had a stronger story and emotional payoff
Yep.
than this, like
This had a backup too.
yeah.
This had
like
backups. but-
twice as long.
Yeah, story.
Like,
Yeah, I wish this had twice as many pages. I wish this had 20 as many pages.
Yeah.
I wish this had half as many pages.
yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I made you read it.
No, it's
no,
okay. No, I'm kind of glad
when I
you
read
did,
it, I was
because,
like, oh,
could you imagine if you'd picked up 3 stellar ones?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
that'd be
this
tough.
was, for me, this was hard enough.
yes.
Because, like,
Yeah.
again, love Aunt May in
Very
this.
tough choice.
For me, like, I love the whole, like, just the, like, fighting through all of his greatest battles. And, like,
Yeah.
not only physically, but emotionally.
Oh, yeah, well...
Yeah.
And, of course, we find out that Doctor Strange is the greatest present giver of all time.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just love... This one is... It's a dude whose mom dies.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's like, you get a magic It's a Wonderful Life story.
Yeah.
And they're both quintessential Spider-Man stories, even
Yeah.
though they're so different.
Right. But they are both dealing with death, which I think is interesting. It's just different elements of it.
Yeah.
Like, in this, it's the loss, and in this, it's the chance, like the second chance.
Right,
And,
right.
like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
Well-
then that just pushed off the table.
And just get that out. Anyway. We'll see you guys next time with another episode of Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
Not Tiffany.
So long.
Bye.
Bye.